What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down some very important levels on Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, and the QQQ. I'm also going to be talking about some big data coming out for tomorrow morning that's going to have another effect on the markets. But before I break anything down with all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. Now, this offer ends in just about 5 days from now, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the charts and the market. So, when it comes to Tesla, we made an attempt to bounce in the morning. Tesla pumped all the way up to about 212 and pushed even higher to about 215. However, this move ultimately failed because, eventually the sellers stepped in and Tesla was not able to break this resistance. So Tesla is still looking pretty weak right now. The market is still looking pretty weak, and the data that came out didn't necessarily help it too much. We had Meta selling off after its earnings because of weak guidance. And on top of that, we had more data that came out. The GDP numbers were a little bit hotter than expected, but one thing worth mentioning is that the Fed said that if economic data is too hot, they're going to be incentivized to raise rates again. And on top of this, we started to see, the GDP price index also a little bit hotter than expected, which does signal towards hotter inflation, or the fact that inflation could stay hotter for longer. Initial jobless claims was as expected, and most of this data was kind of like decent here and there. But one thing worth mentioning will be that going into tomorrow, before the market ends up opening, we have the PCE data coming out. This is going to be a very important inflationary measure, especially for the Fed. So I'm going to be talking more about this later on, but I just want to let you guys know that if you want to secure profits on any positions, if you want to take profits, if you want to kind of exit or even hold overnight, it's your choice, but just be very careful with PCE coming out before the market opens for tomorrow. But anyways, I now want to talk about what's going on with Tesla and all these other tickers. So when it comes to Tesla, we basically got a little pump when we opened up. If you guys look at the charts, we saw Tesla pump up to about 212, which is what I was expecting. I was talking about 215 being tested, but I told you to watch resistance. We'll see if we reject or not for these levels. And Tesla ended up getting this bounce from 206 to about 214, so it pushed $8 from the pre-market low. But then we got a big rejection after that, and Tesla's been downtrending since. So getting this rejection, the whole market's looking weaker. SPY also pumped and then rejected. So I'm going to break down some important levels to watch for and how things are looking. Tesla's currently at 208, which is going to be our support. If we lose this watch 206 and then 205, this entire range right here. And if we lose 205, I could see it coming down to 202.5, then 200, and there's going to be a risk of major selling if we break below 200. Now, for resistance, we have 210. And if we break this, you're going to be watching this 212 area on Tesla as key resistance, 215, 216.8, 218, and 220. Now, right now, Tesla's kind of like range bound, going back and forth, but it's been on a downtrend on the 30 minutes time frame. You can see the bears have a slight edge as the PPO is becoming more bearish. And on the 4-hour time frame, Tesla is still, once again, kind of like flat overall, not really making any major moves. So it's looking very range bound, but a little bit more bearish as we're still downtrending technically. So I want everyone to be very careful. Now, watch these resistance levels. We'll see if Tesla could try to get above 210, but as of right now, it's failing to do so, and the odds do favor it even more downside, so just be very, very careful. Now, don't forget the pre-market low was around 206. We just tested 206.5 about 20 minutes ago, and Tesla still has potential for downside, so just be very careful. Now, for SPY, we just tested 415, but we failed, and we're still looking more bearish on the 30 minutes time frame, starting to curl a little bit, and the 4-hour is also favoring the bears a bit more. You guys can see we're on a downtrend on the 4-hour. So here's some levels to watch for on SPY. Basically, when it comes to SPY, we're currently at about 414.7 right now. If we sell off more, watch 414 as support. If we lose 414, there's a risk of it coming down towards 413.3. If we break below this low we break and hold below 414, watch 413.25 to 412.5. And then below that, we have 410 coming. So watch those levels very carefully. For resistance, you're going to be watching 415. If we get above that, watch 416, 416.5, 417, 418. And then we have some minor resistance at 419 and strong resistance at 420. Right now, SPY is on a downtrend. It's been continuing to downtrend. It's still looking kind of weak. So we're going to be watching these levels carefully. It's been making lower highs and lower lows, and there hasn't been a change in this trend just yet. So just be very, very careful. For the QQQ, the same thing is going on. The QQQ made an attempt to bounce, but I told everyone to watch that 350 resistance. If we broke it, we could have seen the QQQ try to bounce, but it ended up failing at 350. So because it failed, we're going to be watching some key supports. We have some support at 345. If we lose this, watch 344. And if we lose that, watch 342.6. If we lose that, 340 is a real possibility. For resistance, watch 350. Not just 350, sorry. 347 is going to be one resistance, 348, 350, and then 352. As of right now, the QQQ has been on a big downtrend. We're continuing to make lower highs and lower lows. The 30 minutes is looking a bit more bearish, and so is the 4-hour. We're still looking more bearish as of right now. For Apple stock, we made an attempt to bounce, but we failed to get above 172. And because it failed, it came right back down. We're going to be watching this 167 area as support. If we lose this, watch 166.6. If we lose that, 166, then 165 are going to be some key supports, followed by 163.8 down here, and then 162.9. And we have like 160 going below that. But for now, Apple's looking like it's on a slight downtrend. We have resistance at 168, 169, 169.3, and then 170.25. Overall, we're on a downtrend. Apple is still looking weaker, guys, so just be very, very careful around these levels and watch the resistance levels I called out. For Nvidia, I was thinking that Nvidia could try to form a double bottom, but it ended up failing. So we're looking for a bounce on Nvidia, and I warned everyone to watch to see if it holds. Nvidia did bounce. We saw this thing push up towards 420, but it failed. So we got this little bounce, then it failed. It came right back down, and we ended up breaking below 407, which is a bearish signal. So watch 405 as key support. If we lose this, there's a risk of it coming all the way down to 402. If we lose that, watch 400 and 395. For resistance, watch. Currently, we're at 405.5, so watch 407 as resistance, 409 to 410, 412, 414, and then 416. Right now, Nvidia is looking a bit more bearish, as if we're on a downtrend. The 30 minutes about to get a bearish cross on the PPO. And once again, the 4-hour is still looking very bearish. So there's a risk of more downside for Nvidia. So you want to be very, very careful during days like this. Now, Nvidia also has a potential downtrend that's continuing to be respected. One could argue it has a large head and shoulders. I'm not going to really count on the large pattern just yet. I just want to focus more on the short-term levels, because for the short term, there are external catalysts affecting this market. So SPY is now getting very close to 414, looking weak. Tesla just broke below 208, still looking pretty weak. So be very careful, everyone. I just wanted to warn you about this. Tesla had some good news about the new sports version of their model that was coming out, but despite that, we're still selling off. So watch support and do what you have to do, guys. I thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. I will definitely see you guys in the next one. Thanks again, guys. Tesla to the moon, because the long term is still very bright despite these short term fluctuations. And peace out.